everyone, welcome to Live Interactive English. This is Karen.
Hey everybody, I am Shane.
Today we're looking at day 1 of Matcha Conquers the World. And the vocabulary words are frequent.
Frequent.
She frequents this tea shop at least 3 times a week.
Noble.
Noble.
The castle was owned by a noble during the 16th century.
Steep.
Steep.
Steep the tea in hot water for 4 minutes.
Harvest.
Harvest.
We have a high quantity of crops from the recent harvest.
Shade.
Shade.
The spot was shaded by the trees.
Matcha!
That's right, we're talking about matcha.
I like the name, matcha.
Which is like green tea, right?
It's like powdered green tea.
That's right.
That's what makes it special.
And it's different from other tea because usually for other tea, you have to soak in water,
Right.
like the tea leaves.
And it's kind of like wet already. The cool thing about matcha, it's a powder, so you feel you can just add it to anything.
And it's very yummy,
Yeah.
and plus it produces a kind of chemical that can reduce stress.
Ooh, that's good for
And
you.
increase your mental focus.
Oh, wow. So
I think we both need it.
Yeah, I think that, well, green tea is usually, I think most people consider it to
Like a
be
healthy drink.
Yeah, a healthy alternative to coffee, right? So it does have caffeine and it has something to help reduce stress because I think coffee makes you feel more stressed sometimes.
And anxious.
Yeah. But I
Sometimes.
think that matcha doesn't have that problem.
It kind of calms you down. Well, I guess everyone's different, but
You can
in
have
most
matcha ice cream.
Yeah, and matcha. I love matcha ice cream, and even some kind of drinks you can get.
Matcha
in, like-
latte?
Yeah, in like coffee shops, they offer matcha flavor too.
It really makes me miss matcha. I feel I haven't had matcha enough recently. And now I'm going to go and buy some right now. So see you later.
Okay, okay. Well, we're gonna do an ending first.
Oh, okay, okay.
Right? Okay, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Okay.
Matcha conquers the world. If you often frequent cafes, you've no doubt seen the word matcha on a few menus. Once a highly prized tea enjoyed only by Japanese nobles, matcha has become popular around the globe as both a drink and an ingredient in various foods.
Welcome to Live Interactive English Magazine. Today's lesson is called Matcha Conquers the World, Day 1. Hi everyone, my name is Jeff.
And I'm Mike. Who's this Matcha? Is he a new conqueror? Is he like Attila or Genghis?
I was going to say,
Or
is
Alexander?
Is Matcha a distant relative of Genghis Khan or something
Matcha
like
Khan.
that? That sounds awesome.
Does.
Matcha Khan.
Matcha Khan.
Wow.
I think
No,
this would have been
Matcha's not a
this would have
conqueror
been in
in
the
that
news
sense.
if
No,
this
it's,
Matcha guy was like
it's
taking
not,
over
not
countries.
a guy or a lady.
No.
It's not Chaka Khan or anything like that, or Genghis Khan or any Khan at all.
Oh.
In fact, matcha, it's a drink. Yes, if you often frequent cafes, you've no doubt seen the word matcha on a few menus there at those cafes.
I have seen matcha on
Oh,
a few
so
menus.
you frequent cafes?
I do.
You go to cafes frequently?
I do.
I can
yeah.
find you at a cafe most days.
4 times a week.
4 times a week? Well, that means you go pretty frequently to cafes, or you could be said to frequent cafes. Anyways, here the word frequent is a verb, and yes, if you frequent a place, you go to that place often. That's all there is to it. For example, she frequents this tea shop at least 3 times a week.
No, she goes there
Often.
often.
Regularly.
Okay.
Yeah.
To buy things and sit down and have some tea.
She can do whatever she wants as long as she's there, and she goes there somewhat often.
Okay.
She frequents that place.
So if you've been to cafes and you've read the menus carefully, you've definitely seen matcha on the menu. Let's find out more about this popular drink. It says, once a highly prized tea enjoyed only by Japanese nobles, wow, matcha has become popular around the globe as both a drink and an ingredient in various foods. Yes, it's true. Matcha cake, matcha ice cream. You can meet your matcha anywhere these days. Now, Japanese nobles, though, back in the old days, were the only people who could enjoy this highly prized tea. Highly prized, very valuable, very sort of respected or admired or something like that. And Japanese nobles were the only people lucky enough to be able to enjoy it. What is a noble? This is a noun or it's an adjective. We can talk about a noble person or just a noble. Basically, it's a rich landowner from back in the old days of kings and queens and dukes and duchesses. Nobles would be people with a lot of land, a lot of money, and some kind of social or maybe even family connection to the royal family. They themselves may not have been royals, but they certainly would go to all the parties that the royals were invited to as well. For example, the castle was owned by a noble during the 16th century. A rich landowner built this castle.
So only high status individuals in Japan could enjoy this high status or highly prized tea.
Yeah.
How about that? What a great tea it must have been. But get this, folks. Matcha tea, it's just not a drink anymore. Yes, it used to be enjoyed and drunk by these Japanese nobles, but now it can be used as an ingredient in all sorts of different types of foods. Did you say matcha cake?
Yeah, I had some the other day.
When you were frequenting a cafe?
When I was frequenting a restaurant.
How about that?
And they had matcha ice cream on the side.
Consider my mind blown. Yeah. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。今天的课文标题是 Matcha conquers the world。Conquer 这个动词它表示征服、攻克或是战胜。那我们在字尾加上 or 变成 conqueror， 那就是征服者。两位老师开玩笑说，Matcha 该不会是像成吉思汗、阿提拉、亚历山大这些历史上的征服者，准备要来征服全世界了吧？好，那其实 matcha 不是一个人，而是抹茶。如果同学们常去咖啡简餐店，应该会在菜单上面有看到 matcha 这个字。那课文提到说，过去曾经只有日本的贵族才能享用抹茶，那它是非常非常珍贵的茶。不过现在它已经成为饮料还有各种料理的食材，在全球各地变得越来越受欢迎。好，文中的 highly prized， 它表示非常珍贵、非常有价值的。那么单字 frequent， 它当形容词可以形容经常的或是频繁的，不过在课文里面是当动词，是及物用法。我们在后面接地点就可以表达经常去某个地方。那至于 noble 当名词表示贵族，当形容词就是形容贵族的或是形容高贵的。Mike 老师在解释单字时提到 Duke 是公爵，那么 Duchess 就是公爵夫人或是女公爵。接回到课文中。
Matcha conquers the world. Matcha is different from other teas. Unlike teas whose leaves are sold whole or broken up for use in tea bags, matcha, which is finely powdered, is added directly to hot water rather than steeped. To produce matcha, green tea plants are kept covered for about 3 weeks before harvest. Shaded from the sun, they produce theanine, a chemical that reduces stress and increases mental focus. While covered, the leaves also turn a brighter shade of green.
All right, folks, the name of the game is matcha. Okay, matcha is what we're talking about today and the day after that. And get this, matcha is a tea, but matcha is different from other teas.
That's true, it is. Unlike teas whose leaves are sold whole or broken up for use in tea bags, matcha, which is finely powdered, is added directly to hot water rather than steeped. So the way you prepare matcha is a little bit different because matcha is a little bit different from tea. Yes, normal tea is sold as dry leaves, and you put that in a bag or something else to steep in your hot water. Matcha looks more like powdered milk or that cocoa powder that we use to make chocolate milk or something like that. It's a very fine, dusty powder, and you mix it in, and that's how your tea is made. The one place I noticed this, actually, I remember I went to a Japanese sushi restaurant where the sushi's going around, and it was almost exactly the same as the ones here in Taiwan. Many of the same foods. It's on the plate, you take it, you eat it. But instead of having the tea bags that you put in the hot water, there's a little dish with a tiny spoon filled with this green powder, filled with the matcha. That was the one major difference in the Japanese sushi restaurant.
Amazing, yes. Yeah. Usually you steep tea to make that tea. Here, though, matcha, it's a powder that you add directly to hot water.
Yeah,
how about that? Now, before we move on here, let's talk about this word steep. In this particular situation, we're not talking about hills or mountains or anything like that. The word steep is being used as a verb. Here, to steep is to soak food, often tea leaves though, in order to transfer the flavor of that food or food-like stuff like tea to that water, to said water. For example, steep the tea in hot water for 4 minutes.
Oh, so it's different from boiling, it's different from brewing. We brew coffee, we steep tea. I guess maybe there are some Chinese medicines that you might steep as well, like dry medicines. You put them and let them soak and sit in the hot water for a few minutes. That's what we're talking about there. To produce matcha, how do you make this magical green tea powder? To produce matcha, green tea plants are kept covered for about 3 weeks before harvest. Interesting. So they're allowed to sort of ferment or age or something like that. And this is before harvest. This is when they're still on the tea bush. We know that because harvest is when you cut the fruit or the grass or whatever from the stalk, from the plant, from the root, and collect it as a farmer would collect their harvest at the end of the growing season, at the end of the summer. Possibly. All right, so that is what we talk about being harvest. It can be a noun, to harvest the fruit or the food, or harvest is the time when you harvest or gather the fruit or the food. For example, we have a high quantity of crops from the recent harvest.
The crops grew all through the growing season.
All season long.
And then we went and picked all of them, or we harvested all of them
Collected them
during
all
the harvest.
There you go.
Anyways, shaded from the sun. Remember these green tea plants, they're kept covered.
Yeah.
Shaded from the sun, they produce theanine or theanine, a chemical that reduces stress and increases mental focus.
Really?
How about that?
Cool.
I hope I said that right. Theanine.
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 That's right.
Interesting. It sounds like a chemical to me. Now, let's not talk about chemicals anymore. Let's go ahead and talk about shade. Okay, we can use this word shade as both a noun and as a verb. When we're talking about shade, we're talking about an area or a region of semi-darkness that is produced by something that is blocking the sun's light. Now, to produce such semi-darkness is called shading, or that's to shade. So, in a sunny day, or on a sunny day, during a sunny day, I should say, people very often like to take refuge under trees. Why? Because there's shade under those trees, and you can get out of the sun's light for a short period of time. Anyways, for example, the spot was shaded by the trees, or there was shade to be found under those trees.
It was a shady spot.
It was a shady spot. That would be the word being used as an adjective. Shade, shade, and then shady.
All right, so covering the plants or keeping them in the shade, shading them, will of course produce theanine, this chemical, and something else interesting happens. It says while covered, the leaves also turn a brighter shade of green. Yes, if you've noticed, if you've seen matcha powder, it is kind of a dark kind of green color. It's actually quite a lovely color, but definitely darker than your average tea leaf. Well, that's caused by shading the plants from the sun before harvest. Interesting stuff we're learning about matcha. I think I'm going to try to drink more. I definitely need to reduce my stress and increase my mental focus. And if I can do it by having a tasty cup of tea, why not? Let's take a break, grab a tasty cup of tea, and we'll be back to talk more about matcha.
同学们如果有喝过抹茶，就会知道它跟其他的茶不一样。一般的茶是用原片或者是捣成碎片放到茶包里面来卖，那喝的时候必须放在热水里面浸泡。至于抹茶，它是细粉状的，你直接加入热水就可以了。好，那文中的 be finely powdered， 它是指磨成细粉状的。那 Mike 老师有提到 dusty 这个字 ，D-U-S-T-Y，dusty 可以用来形容沉状的、粉状的。好，那课文提到，为了要制作抹茶呢，在绿茶树收成之前的3个礼拜，要把这些绿茶树盖住，避免阳光照射。那这样一来，它们就会产生一种叫做茶氨酸的东西 theanine。那这是一种用来减压还有提升精神集中的化学物质。而且茶叶被遮住的时候，这个叶子它的颜色也会变得更翠绿，难怪抹茶粉的颜色会这么特别。好，这边有3个单字 steep 当形容词可以用来形容陡峭的，可是在文中它是当动词表示浸泡。 老师们提到说，把茶浸泡在水里，你是用 steep 这个字表达，可是我们要表达煮咖啡，你就要用 brew，B-R-E-W，brew 就表示煮。下一个单字 harvest，harvest 它当名词表示收成、收成季节或是收获量，那么当动词就表示收成或是收获。至于 shade 这个字当名词可以用来指色彩的浓淡或是色度，那它当动词就表示给什么遮光或是遮蔽。Jeff 老师刚刚有提到 take refuge 就表示避难躲避。好，顺便补充一下 shady 是形容词，可以用来形容有阴凉的或者是有树荫的。接回到课文中。
Matcha conquers the world. It may be common today, but drinking matcha was originally a custom practiced mainly by Chinese Buddhists, and the tea was first brought to Japan from China in the 12th century. As the years went by, the drink became a favorite of the Japanese noble class, eventually finding its way into all social classes. Matcha is still used today in the Japanese tea ceremony, a time-honored feature of Japanese culture.
Matcha is a tea, but it's not prepared as most teas are.
Right.
Further, this tea, known as matcha, contains a chemical called theanine. It's a tea with theanine, not theanine, but that is kind of funny. A tea with a chemical called theanine.
I got it.
The active ingredient in tea is theanine.
Yeah, I get it.
It's theanine.
That's
theanine.
That's right. And it's produced, all of this is produced by covering the tea bushes before harvest. Now, matcha, we learned already, was once only enjoyed by rich, noble Japanese people, but it's become much more common, much easier to find, and probably much cheaper today, hasn't it?
Anyways, one way or another, yes, it may be common today, but drinking matcha was originally a custom practiced mainly by Chinese Buddhists, and the tea was first brought to Japan from China in the 12th century.
Interesting.
Matcha. We started learning about matcha being consumed by Japanese nobles, but that's not where matcha really came from.
There you go.
It originated in China.
It originated
with Chinese Buddhists.
That's right, and they brought it over to Japan. And of course, the Japanese made it into something much bigger and more meaningful and all that kind of stuff, as the Japanese love to do. As the years went by, the drink became a favorite of the Japanese noble class, the rich and powerful Japanese people, eventually finding its way into all social classes, kind of like tea and coffee in other parts of the world. First, it was very valuable and expensive. Rich people could get it, only rich people, but then eventually more and more people could afford it. Matcha is still used today in the Japanese tea ceremony, a time-honored feature of Japanese culture. That's kind of what I was saying about taking matcha and the Japanese turned it into something much bigger. The tea ceremony takes about 45 minutes to an hour and a half. If you do the proper full Japanese tea ceremony. I remember sitting through one as a 9-year-old boy in Japan going, man, this is long. But the tea at the end was very good, so it might have been all worth it.
It sounds like it was quite a ceremony.
Like many ceremonies, yes,
Yeah.
there's a lot of sort of ritual and custom and tradition and stuff like that. And it is actually quite lovely.
It is.
But for a, energetic 9-year-old child who just wants to watch cartoons, it was kind of boring.
All jokes aside, it's a beautiful
But it is,
ceremony,
yes.
and for that reason, it is a time-honored feature of Japanese culture.
I like when they whisk the matcha.
I've never seen that happen, but it looks majestic.
very
What you're
nice.
doing there looks awesome. All right, folks, with that, today's lesson has come to a close, and it's time for us to say bye-bye.
Sayonara.
饮用抹茶原本主要是中国佛教徒奉行的一种惯常做法，它发源于中国。那我们可以用动词 originate 来表达发源或是来自什么什么。好，课文提到抹茶最早是在12世纪的时候从中国带到日本，那它成了日本贵族阶级的最爱。那后来进到社会的各个阶层，被使用在日本的茶道里，而茶道是日本文化里面一项历史悠久的特色。好，文中的 time honored 可以用来形容传统或是习俗是历史悠久的或是由来已久的。至于补充单字 Buddhist 它当名词就表示佛教徒，当形容词就是佛教徒的。至于 ceremony 它表示仪式典礼，意思跟 ritual 很相近。那么文中的 Japanese tea ceremony 就表示日本茶道。 好，那以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。大家好，我是 Hanny。在今天的课程中，我们要介绍6个文法重点。第一个是 unlike 做介系词的用法，第二个是 whose 引导关系子句的限定用法，第三个是 add A to B， 第四个是 rather than 做连接词的用法，第五个是片语动词 go by， 第六个是 find one's way into 加上名词。首先我们来学习 unlike 做介系词的用法。unlike 做介系词表示不像什么，跟什么什么不同。例如 unlike most of his colleagues, Nick goes to work by bike. Nick 跟他大部分的同事不同，他是骑脚踏车上班的。接下来我们来学习 whose 引导关系子句的限定用法。whose 当所有个关系代名词时，表示什么什么的，之后要接名词。whose 前面的先行词可以是人或是事物。当先行词是非特定不明确的对象时， whose 的前面不加逗号。那么 whose 引导的子句是用来限定先行词的范围。例如 The man whose car was stolen was very upset. 那名车子被偷的男子非常生气。接下来我们来学习 add A to B， 表示把 A 加到 B 里面。如果是以被动语态表示，是写作 A 加上 be 动词 added to 加上 B。例如 He added some milk to his coffee. 他把一些牛奶加进咖啡里。接下来我们来学习 rather than 做连接词的用法。rather than 做连接词表示而不是什么什么，它用来连接词性相同的字词。例如 Can I have ice cream rather than cake? 我可以吃冰淇淋而不要蛋糕吗？如果是以 rather than 来连接不定词片语，也就是连接 to 加上原形动词时， rather than 后方的不定词它的 to 通常会省略。例如 He prefers to jog in the park rather than work out at the gym. 他比较喜欢在公园慢跑，而不是在健身房运动。接下来我们来学习片语动词 go by， 表示流逝，通常是用来指时间的流逝。例如 Many years have gone by since the last time we saw each other. 从我们上一次见面时到现在已经过了很多年了。最后我们来学习 find one's way into 加上名词，这表示找到什么什么的路，进到某个地方。那么常用来比喻经过一番波折，最后变成某一种结果。例如 Many Latin words found their way into the English language. 许多拉丁语词后来演变成英语的一部分。以上是今天重点整理，我们下次见喽 See you next time. Bye.
欢迎收看就爱讲英文。
我是季安，
我是悠悠。你知道吗？我烦，我昨天早两，
没有
今天还要赶出一大堆工作，我现在头痛到不行，快要炸。
啊，有听起来就是一个头两个大，对不对啊？然后我们讲一下这个跟头痛有关的东西。头痛呢，就是 headache， 这是最简单的，headache 哦 ，head 是头，ache 是疼痛，所以加起来就是头的痛 ，headache 是可数名词啊。I have a headache.
I have a headache.
那你现在好像不是一般的头痛而已哈，超痛对不对？哎呦，就是丢丢痛这样。My head is pounding.
My head is pounding.
Pound 呢是某个东西重击这样，那给我麦掉。My head is pounding， 一直丢一直丢，丢痛，剧痛。所以呢，你可以说工作做不完吗 ？I have so much work to do, and I have a headache.
I have so much work to do, and I have a headache. 有没有这种严重的感觉？就是好像要炸掉，有没有？就要砰啊砰，
这丢啊！有，真的有照字面。
规律要疼，
规律不是不利要疼，是非常的疼。OK， 你就是说头快要炸掉，对不对？照字面翻 ，It feels like my head is going to explode.
It feels feels like my head is going to explode.
Explode 就是炸，就是爆炸，
真的
炸弹炸开，嘣，这样痛到快爆炸。
怎么办？
所以这真的不是一般的头痛哈，
不是
一般的就是 regular。所以呢 ，it's not just a regular headache。
It's not just a regular headache.
是爆炸型的哈。
对
那
那现在我这样头晕了。
对头晕了，因为你刚刚自己敲的啊，敲一敲头晕就 dizzy。
I feel dizzy.
OK，I feel dizzy。好，或者是呢，你这样敲一敲，觉得天旋地转，My head is spinning，My head is spinning。好 ，spin 是旋转，所以呢，头晕起来真的有时候有些人有眩晕，对不对？
真的，
就是他们就可以说 My head is spinning。
真的，
对，
我现在觉得非常有画面。
I feel my head is spinning right now。
对，
就晕了，哎呦，来，你马上振作了哈，老板还在等你呢哈。所以像这种状况，对不对？你朋友已经晕倒了，你就是还是要
关心一下。
Sorry to hear that. Maybe you need to get some rest.
可是我希望我能休息啊，但我还是今天必须把工作完成。
OK， 那你就要说 I wish I could get some rest。睡着了，好吧？那我们来看一下今天的 live action。
I have so much work to do and I have a headache.
That's too bad. Are you okay?
I don't think so. It's not just a regular headache. It feels like my head is going to explode.
Sorry to hear that. Maybe you need to get some rest.
I wish I could rest, but I have to finish all of this work today. Gosh, I'm starting to feel dizzy now too.
No.